What's up? We are alive. Pretty much. I don't know. Nothing really happened. I did make the video today, recapping the season, giving everybody a grade, and I get an F because I forgot to hit save on the template. And if you get to the Hendrick part of that one, they all have the exact same stats, and those stats are Christopher Bell stats. So that was the big oof for today. And I think I also on the template, instead of typing in 0, I typed in 3 or left the 3 there. The template I just used Christopher Bell stats. So I forgot to take the 3 out and put the 0 for Bubba Wallace on the template. So a couple of the numbers in the templates were wrong. So massive L, catching the L here. But we do have a poll question. You don't have to catch an L. You can catch a poll question. Who had the best overall season? Penske, Joe Gibbs, Hendrick, or other? And other can be, of course, other. So there you go. Those are the options, and probably should do my job and read off where they're at right now. Penske at 36% right now is leading, 14% for Joe Gibbs Racing. Hendricks is at 33%, and other is at 13%. So there you go. There's your percentages. All right. Oh yeah, good catch there, Mark Barnum. We can cast a vote for the most popular driver. The voting is open. So if we all condense our efforts into one driver, there is a possibility that we could pull the upset on Chase Elliott. Nothing against Chase Elliott. I actually like Chase Elliott, but I do want the most popular driver to be broken up from time to time. So if we all organize and vote for, I don't know, who you think can upset him? Kyle Busch, Ryan Blaney. He's the champ, right? So maybe vote for the champ. Vote for the champ, Ryan Blaney. Despite Blaney winning the championship, I voted HMS had the better organization this year, says Jamie Schweitzer. Yeah, and whatchamacallit, Joe Gibbs Racing, they got all 4 cars in there so that you could make an argument for them. RFK was better than all of them, says Bumblebee. Yeah, RFK, I feel like in a lot of ways was the story of the season. What's up in between the lanes? What's up, OJ and Toothpaste? I think Rick Ware Racing had the best season, said OJ and Toothpaste. I mean, they're an absolute juggernaut on Earth, too. Like, every single year, Rick Ware coming close to taking home that hardware on Earth 2. The toaster-shaped Earth 3. Or the toaster-shaped 3 of Earth 2. I wanted Blaney, and we'll keep voting for him, says Mark Barnes. So there you go. We can just condense our efforts into voting for young Ryan Blaney. So if we all vote for Ryan Blaney, there's a chance that Ryan Blaney can pull the upset on Chase Elliott, who of course eats boneless buffalo wings. So vote for somebody that eats boneless buffalo wings if you want to. Those are really just chicken nuggets. Let's see here. What's up in between the lanes? Bruce said Wallace had 3 wins. What a legend. I never said he had 3 wins. I just forgot to take the 0. I forgot to take the 3 out and put the 0 in my template, or at least forgot to hit save when I did it. Massive fail. But you know what? That's something I'll add to the list of stuff to check on when I make videos that long. Longest video I think I've made in a long time, if ever. William Byron is my driver of the year, says Bumblebee. Yeah, he had, in my opinion, he had the best season out of anybody. Just going by the legitimate, literal numbers. Breaking news: Bologna Burger to appear on Actions Detrimental, says in between the lanes. Yeah, to explain my faulty numbers. So let's see here. At least my infographics were faulty. All the information written down was actually accurate. Most popular that I spoke to from the script I had. Most popular drivers: Ryan Blaney, Justin Allgaier, Grant Enfinger. All got my votes, says B. So there you go. I guess we're on the Ryan Blaney train. We're gonna if we can, if you want to listen to me, you don't have to at all. Vote for who you want to, but we're gonna try to skew it to Ryan Blaney and see if we can upset Chase Elliott here. Let's all vote for Ty Dillon. Then for most popular driver, he's got a shot, says OJ and Toothpaste. I mean, on Earth too, he's taken that title several times. So Jimmy Schweitzer. All right, we'll go Blaney. I voted Watermelon Man, says Dirty Death. I feel like he's a good one. I feel like Kyle Busch could possibly pull the upset too. I voted for Bubba, says one wise guy. So there you go, 1 vote for Bubba. Ryan Blaney was most popular driver. I'll tell you what, the thing about Bubba Wallace, for the longest time, he was behind Denny Hamlin the most booed, or Joey Logano, depending on what track you were at, or the tracks I went to. He was the most booed driver. This year, I've actually listened to it, and it's like 50. It's getting closer to 50-50. So you're seeing more of the Bubba fans turn out and show up. And he's starting to become like a 50-50 boos and cheers. That's the one thing that was different about Martinsville this year. than normal. Ryan Blaney is most popular driver. The interaction between him and his nephew is priceless. And I'm not even going to get started on the Bubba Wallace thing. I know some people don't like him, but I'm just saying it's sort of skewing to 50-50. Ryan Blaney was most popular driver. The interaction between him and his nephew is priceless, says Dustin Walker. And yeah, so my buddy is a huge Ryan that I went to Martinsville with. He's a huge Ryan Blaney fan. And he stood in line to get the autographs or whatever after Ryan Blaney did his interview in the where they sell the merchandise and stuff. They did the interviews there. He got to meet Ryan Blaney. He said he's one of the nicer guys there. He met Austin Dillon too. He said Austin Dillon's a really nice guy. And then he met another driver who shall remain nameless that stood everybody up on the autographs. He just jumped on the golf cart and hauled butt. So there's one driver. I don't think the driver necessarily did it on purpose. I think he saw that there was no hats with his stuff on it, so he just jumped on the golf cart and kept it rolling. Harvick's first and last Cup race, seeing the number one car take the checkered flag, says Jamie Swanson. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So Steve Park won Kevin Harvick's first race at Rockingham, and then the last race, of course, won by Ross Chastain, both driving the number one cars. I don't know what it means, but that's just a really cool thing that happened. So I don't know. Do you guys kind of get into stuff like that when it happens? I always thought stuff like that's kind of neat. How about door bumper clear? They said immediately after Blaney bumped into Chastain that NASCAR officials went up to Brandon McReynolds, Ross' spotter, to tell Ross to stand down. That's so lame, dude. If I was Brandon, and I'm not, nor do I ever want to be a spotter, to be totally fair. I would tell the NASCAR officials to kindly F off and get out of my spot. That's exactly what I would tell them, because that's no way to be. That is no way to be. Ross Chastain didn't make any contact with Ryan Blaney. That's the issue I have with that. He was just racing for the lead. So that's an overstep from those NASCAR officials' place. I need to find that. I haven't listened to Door Bumper Clear yet. I need to find that so I can make a rant about that, because that's bougie. That's bullcrap. I can't believe Austin's numbers this season, says one wise guy. They're pretty bad. There have been people that have had worse seasons though, but that 10 DNFs, man. He's a pretty good race car. I know a lot of people don't like him, but he's a pretty good race car driver. 10 DNFs. That's hard to overcome. Now I know who was it? Somebody else had a bunch of DNFs. Kyle Larson was pretty close. He had 8 DNFs, but he's got the wins. He had at least 4 wins. So he sort of cut that in half with the wins. Austin Dillon didn't have the wins though. So and somebody posted, I think it was B. I think B posted in there that Jeff Bodine had 17 DNFs one year and 4 wins or something like that. Some crazy year. So I was like, that's pretty crazy that some people have years like that. But that's just what it is. You have years like that. There's just things that happen. And unfortunately, this was unfortunately for Austin, this was Austin's year to have a bad season. I think for sure he'll bounce back next season, though. The championship is a joke now. They need something else. They definitely need to take a look at it. And find a better way to go about it, in my opinion. I think a lot of people are over the gimmick part of it. And I think a lot more people want something that is a more legitimate champion. I'm not saying we have to go back to old. So we can do something that everybody hates. It's called compromise. We can go back basically to the chase that Jimmy Johnson had. I think that would be fair. You've got 10 races to get it done. You qualify for that 10, and I think that's probably the most fair thing if you want to have excitement in the playoffs and chase. And you can still cut drivers, just don't reset the points. You can just cut drivers and they fall off. Not only that, but the 24 car won the pole. That way, everybody's equally unhappy. The Harvick was first in last race too. Says Bumblebee. BB, did you think NASCAR will ever return to the sand of Daytona Beach? I'm not going to say never on that one. You know why? Because you just never know. You legitimately never know, because they've done a lot of gimmicky stuff. So I wouldn't put it past them, because we're racing on a street course. What's to stop them from racing on a street and also racing on some type of dirt? So I wouldn't actually put it past them. Can I tap on that some more? Can the screen go jello-y like that? I'm getting a new camera. Sorry, this is a battle I fought with this camera, and this camera is fixing to go away as soon as I can get the other camera to work. Sorry about that. Let's see here. He rage quit the video game. He's not even playing a video game. Freddie asked TJ if he was going to spot for Haley. He wouldn't commit to yes, but made a point to praise her. So I say he will be her spotter, says Mark Barnum. It could be. We've got a super chat here from B. What's up, B? Jeff Bodine in 1994. He won 4 races. Had 17 DNFs. LOL, he won at Charlotte, Wilkesboro, Michigan, and Pocono. Very, very different tracks that he won at, too. blew 11 motors and crashed 6 times. That's amazing. That is an amazing statistic. I don't know. Type G in the chat if you want me to make a video of Jeff Bodine's 1994 season. That is insane. 17 DNFs. That is crazy. Let's see. Blaney said he talked to Ross after the race and laughed about it, and they congratulated each other. I thought it was pretty cool. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I just don't like NASCAR getting involved. Like, NASCAR shouldn't have anything to say unless, I mean, it'd be different if Ross Chastain was like slamming into him or something like that. But a NASCAR shouldn't get involved when it's just 2 guys racing. So, yeah, I don't know. Shy till the 25th, I think. 29th. I do know that one. The contest goes to the 29th as far as voting for drivers, and you can vote multiple times a day. And if you have a bunch of different email accounts, you can use all those different email accounts. Who do you think will get the most 2024 titles? Says Jamie Schweitzer. Who will get the most wins? Sorry about that. Who will get the most wins in 2024? That is a good question. There's a lot of wild cards out there. Like Spire is hooking up with basically Trackhouse. How good are they going to be? And Trackhouse was fairly good this year, and you would imagine if more cars with a Trackhouse type setup, so that could factor into it. I mean, it's always going to be the big 3, right? Penske, Joe Gibbs Racing, and Hendrick. I feel like Hendrick is always going to have one of the cars there. I don't know about Joe Gibbs Racing. I like their lineup there, but they're really good guys. They're starting to get long in the tooth. But you do got Christopher Bell there, and there's no telling when Ty Gibbs will sort of turn the corner over there. Martin Truex Jr. and Denny Hamlin, they're always going to be up there, but they're, like I said, they're closer to the end of their career than the beginning. Penske, they win titles, but it's been a long time since Penske had the guy that won the most races, I want to say. So I would say one of the Hendrick drivers, whether it be, Alex Bowman can even get streaky and do it. He's come close to doing it sometimes. So, I mean, this year it was Byron. It could be Larson. We've seen him do it. And it could easily be Chase Elliott. So I would say one of the Hendrick drivers, just off the top of my head. That being said, if RCR figures out the program and they continue to have speed for a full season instead of in spurts like they did this year, which a lot of those, like I said, were DNFs. I could see Kyle Busch for RCR getting it done just on his talent alone. And those cars, in my opinion, the RCR cars are actually pretty decent. Ross Chastain, he's due for a year like that. The aggressiveness of Ross Chastain, I could see him having a year like that. There are drivers that are situational like that I could see that happening. So I'd have to think about it. But I would have to say your safe bet would be Hendrick there for that one. Just pick one of the Hendrick drivers. RCR has setup issues, cannot keep the car under the driver. KB and AD have the ability, but the cars are not keeping up with them, so they have to overdrive them, says Shaw. Yeah, and that's something that Kyle Busch figured out midway through the year when he was starting to push the car too much, and that's where the DNFs came from. With this car particularly, sometimes you have to take what the car will give you, and just that's what you got. I'm looking forward to your triannual playoff video, says one wise guy. It's coming. I do. Typically, it's 3 a year. I've only done 1, I think, this year, so it's not exactly triannual, but it will be. It will be coming up next week. BD, what's better, ground beef tacos or chicken? I like chicken tacos personally, but I mean, you can't go wrong. A taco is a taco, but I like chicken better. They talked to the NASCAR officials going to Brandon McReynolds at the end of the YouTube video. DDC reacts to Ryan Blaney winning the championship. Okay, I'll check it out. Let's see. I got a bunch of G's down here, so that might have to be a video. I'll have to start working on that one. Do you think incident points would fix the driving playoffs, black flags, and end of the line penalties? I don't even think you need incident points. I just think just go to the old late model rule. If you're part of the accident, you go to the back of the field with the car that wrecked. So that'll clean it up more than anything. Let's see. OJ and Toothpaste, too. The best is ground beef or chicken together. Also, so going with the not necessarily surf and turf, but going with the combo there, combining both of them. I love Jeff. He almost passed away in that truck, says Robin Marks. I thought it was funny that Chastain's presser describing how he bent over backwards not to touch Blaney, but Blaney was wearing out his bumper trying to pass. Yeah, that's kind of my point. Like, he never touched Blaney. The only person I saw making contact was Blaney. So why would they? I just don't understand why the NASCAR officials would walk up to Ross Chastain's spotter like that. That's crazy. That's so. It doesn't surprise me, but it's crazy. I'm going to vote Blaney one day and Chastain the next till the deadline, says Shaw. I like it. I think they were worried about Ross because of what happened in the truck race. They have to protect their gimmick. I mean, that's fair enough. Good point, Dirty Duff. Good point. With the context of how the truck race went, I think that is a fair statement. I still don't necessarily. It gets into this collusion territory when you got the sanctioning body coming down and you haven't actually made contact. So it's a tough one. It's tough. I don't love it, but I understand where they're coming from that perspective. Ross doesn't care about Blaney or Denny, etc., says Robin Marks. That's a fact. I'm expressing all four Hendrick cars. I'm expecting all four Hendrick cars to be on rails next season, says one wise guy. Yeah, me too. Same thing with Joe Gibbs Racing and Penske. I always expect those guys to do really well. And now I think you can add easily RFK to that mix as well. I'm Tuesday, and the world can't tell you who won the 2023 Cup. Now is when NASCAR is supposed to spend marketing dollars. Good point, E. Damon Racing. I absolutely agree with you there. On our champions with ads like the NFL to make sure they're household names. I agree with you 100%. That is 100% a great take. I love what you're thinking about there. Shaw says watermelon is life and life is entertaining. Says Shaw. Last time Penske led the Cup in wins with a driver was Brad Keselowski with 6 in 2014. So yeah, almost a decade ago. Appreciate you hooking it up with the stats there. Not only a moderator, but the stats, the head stats person here at Baloney Burger Media. Bumblebee. Amen. Sonny V saying to Shaw, no NBC Chastain interview and Melon Smash was bad. He won the race. They kind of acted like Blaney won the race, even though he didn't. Yeah, so it wouldn't have been hard for them. I understand showing Blaney first. The championship is the story. But then after you show the Blaney interview, you should cut over there and show Ross Chastain doing his thing, smashing the watermelon, and then do the interview real quick. They did do the Ross Chastain interview, but it was well into the post-race coverage. So I understand if you thought they didn't, but they did show the interview. They never showed the watermelon smash. I actually had to go and find that on social media. So that was a whiff. Hopefully in the future, NBC will learn from that and do a little bit better. If that situation ever arises again where somebody different that isn't the champion wins the race. Please tap the like button if you enjoy the channel. Yes, if you want to hit the like button, that would be much appreciated. Have you ever been to Petty Museum in Level Cross, North Carolina? If so, is it worth going to, says Dustin Walker. I like it. I'm a Petty fan, and I've been there multiple times. That being said, it's not like this big, huge museum like a lot of people think it is, but typically if you go there, Richard Petty is going to be there, or Dale Inman. There's going to be somebody from the Petty family that's going to be there working that you can talk to. So it's really cool. You typically get to talk to one of those cats. They'll be around there, and if you're a Petty fan, I would say yes for sure. But it's not going to be like I don't know exactly how far you're coming from, so I have to. I wouldn't make a trip just for that. If you're going to go to Level Cross, I would also go to Welcome, North Carolina, and visit the RCR Museum. So I would make it a trip like that, kind of. But I wouldn't. If you're traveling a great distance and that's your only destination, I would schedule some other stuff because it's a pretty small museum, but it's dense. It's packed with a lot of stuff. Don't get me wrong. You can spend a good amount of time there, but I don't think you could spend a whole day there. So that's kind of where I'm going with it. I don't want to disrespect it. I think it's one of the better museums, but it's just not big enough, in my opinion, to spend a whole day there. So I don't know how far your traveling would be. So I'm just trying to be fair to the situation there. I got a super chat down here from Raymond. What's up, Raymond? Ross didn't do anything wrong. He even did the best he could to stay out of him, even when they were side by side. He didn't want to be that guy that wrecked the playoff driver. I agree with you 100%. And it's just crazy that NASCAR, and I understand from the perspective of they don't want to see something like the truck race happening again, but it kind of looks collusion-y if they're talking to drivers like that. Don't race hard against the playoff drivers. That's kind of it's a bad look. It was a good Phoenix race for the Cup, but Homestead was still many miles better than the finale, says Napa Racing fan. Yeah, as far as the race goes, NASCAR's really got to work on this short track package. They're getting better with the tire fall off, but they need a few more tweaks to it. Just made some steak tacos at the hotel, says Raymond Bailey, and I saw something about fish tacos up there earlier. Yeah, fish tacos are the bomb. A little surf and turf, do a steak and shrimp. That's a good go-to as well. Big Cheese saying, what did you think about Corey Heim waiting for Hocevar? Do you think that Tony Stewart was talking about that when he was talking about the truck race? 100%. I think that's what Tony. That's himself. I don't mind Corey Heim wrecking Hocevar in that same race. Where I call into a lack of judgment is there were 6 laps left to go, and you affected the outcome of the championship. If you were going to get him back, immediately get him back. Don't wait till there's 6 laps to go in the race and you realize you don't have in your mind don't have a chance to win the race, and then wreck him. That's poor judgment. And Corey Heim's a young dude. He'll get better. He's a really good race car driver. But that was not the moment to get payback. You can get payback in the same race. You can get payback the next time you guys race together. But you can't do it with 6 laps to go when Grant Enfinger's got the lead and has pretty much got the race in control, because you cost Grant Enfinger a championship. So at the end of the day, you affected the outcome of the championship. You manipulated the championship. And I like Corey Heim. I'm a big supporter of Corey Heim. But that was a mistake there. There's no doubt about that. BD, have you ever had the Burger King tacos 2 for $1? I've never had the Burger King tacos. That sounds a lot like the gas station sushi to me. So I don't know about Burger King tacos. What's up from North Idaho, says Cassandra. What's up, Cassandra? What's up, North Idaho? Mark Barnum, grilled catfish tacos, says Bumblebee. Yeah, catfish tacos are underrated. I believe Hendrick won the owner's points, says Jamie Schweitzer. I don't know. I have to look at it. Like I said, I still don't know exactly how the owner's points work versus the regular points. Beef, chicken taco, feathered hoof, says Shah. There you go, the feathered hoof. Appreciate you, Shah, says One Wise Guy. What's up, Cassandra? What about catfish omelets, says OJ. I've never had a catfish omelet, but I bet they're pretty good. I like catfish. Blaney is a head case on the radio, says Bumblebee. Yeah, he's a lot of people are like, oh, he was talking crazy. He always talks like that. If you've ever listened to Ryan Blaney's radio, he's always talking about everybody around him like that. That's what I'm talking about. Some guys inside of a race car on the radio, you wouldn't even recognize them compared to who they are in regular life. Ross fought the 5, and the 5 got ahead. He wins the cup, says Duke Chronic. I mean, yeah, that's true. That's true. He raced the 5 car pretty hard as well. So, but he raced them all clean. So, like, it's pretty crazy that NASCAR talked to him. The best tacos in Orlando are from food trucks in the Milk District. Shah saying thumbs up to the Watermelon Man. The Milk District. I'm not familiar with the Milk District in Orlando. I've been to Orlando a few times, but I got to. I'll have to look up the Milk District. That's pretty cool, though. I'll have to look. I'm a big food truck person, so I'll have to check that out next time I'm in sunny Florida. eBay flathead catfish is my Thanksgiving meal. That's pretty awesome. I like any catfish really, but with some Cajun on it, that's next level. Blackened catfish is good, or just any catfish with Cajun. A little lemon, a little butter. Yes, says B. The problem with that one race format, there's 32 other drivers out there driving to win that race, says Dirty Death. Yeah, I mean, the problem with the playoff format is NASCAR, unlike every other stick and ball sport, other than maybe golf, you race everybody every single race. So a playoff, it's never really going to make sense, to be honest with you, unless you do it where you've got to qualify for the last 10 races, and the last 10 races are where you get your playoff champion from. I thought that was a respectable format because at least it made sense. You have to qualify to be a champion. But this cutting it off every race and then the last race, especially the last race being the only race that matters for the championship, it's really hard for me to respect that format. And Ryan Blaney is the champion. The format was the same for everybody at the beginning of the season. I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about the format itself. I think can be changed and fixed a little bit. Ross got completely disrespected, says B. Did you guys catch Dale? I agree with that on the coverage. Did you guys catch Dale on his podcast talking Bo Cephas and how he needs to clean it up? I didn't feel he was being genuine. Whether he's being genuine or not, it doesn't matter. Like, you could tell it. In my opinion, you can tell it bothered him because look at how he drove. He fell all the way to the back of the field because he wasn't focused. He really does care. I don't think he cared that he wrecked Corey Heim. I think he cared that he was trying to drive so clean this season to fix his reputation. And then that happened. Like, he got into Corey Heim, and now he knows exactly what's happening right now. People are going to be like, he hasn't changed a bit. He's still a rough driver. He ain't worth nothing. I think that's more what Carson Hocevar is upset about. All this season, he really tried to clean up his act, and then he spins a guy out the last race, and he knows exactly what's going to be said about him. So I do think it was actually genuine in the moment. I don't think he was upset about wrecking Corey Heim so much as he was upset that he wrecked his reputation again. He had worked so hard this whole season to put his reputation back together, and I think that's what actually he was so upset about. Ross, but I can see the other side of the argument because it was so over the top with the hands to the eyes and stuff like that. I can see people thinking that he was maybe overselling it, pretending to be more upset than he was. And that argument would hold weight, except for the fact that he literally fell all the way back through the field, kind of self-penalized himself, and then started going forward. So I don't necessarily see it that way. I can see the people that make that argument. But I think once he falls back through the field like that, and you saw him walking his way back up through it, there was nothing wrong with the truck. I think he was just upset with himself because he had ruined his reputation again. Ross is a true gentleman, says Shaw. Ross is rude. He should have pulled over and let Blaney have all the limelight. Ross don't care about NASCAR. Ross cares about winning and racing. That's a fair statement. How rude of him to win the race when there's other people out there racing for a championship. Wise Guy Jr. is an idiot. Senior was the GOAT, says Mark Barnum. So there you go. Mark Barnum, not a Dale Jr. fan. A rarity. We have found a non-Dale Jr. fan. So there you go. Rest in peace, Leo Jackson, owner of Harry Gant's famous Skull Bandit Oldsmobile. He was 90 years old. Prayers for his family. He was one of the innovators of the sport, too. Good long life. I didn't realize he was that old. But, yeah, Leo Jackson, him and his brother, they had the 33, the 55, and was the other one the 99? What was the other car? They had 3 cars at one point, though, and they were all Skull Bandit cars. So for sure, he bought it after Hal Needham and Burt Reynolds sold out, and that's who Harry Gant raced for until 94 when he retired or whatever. I think it was 94. So, yeah, 94, popular year. So there you go. Let's see. On this particular stream, Ross is just racing. I agree. Congratulations, Raymond Bailey, says Shaw. Did what you don't do. You don't take yourself out, says Duke Chronic. Yeah, when you're looking for revenge, don't take yourself out. That's the rule of thumb, ain't it? Let's see here. Robin Marks with the super chat. Ross didn't need a talking to. NASCAR needs to be spanked. Here's to you for a great year of NASCAR reporting and opinion. Oops, I forgot the thumbs up video. Keep up the great work. Where's the Fiat? I've got the Fiat. I actually I posted some pictures on. I think I posted a picture here, but I know I posted one on Twitter. But we will get the Fiat project. The Fiat is purchased and it's ready. Well, it's not ready to go, but it's when I get the tags on it, it'll be ready to go. But yeah, we're gonna have that as the off-season project. Appreciate you there, Robin Marks. Let's see, where was I at here? NASCAR needs to remember its gentleman moonshiner roots and kick the execs to the curb. Tell them to shut up and enjoy the profits. The execs are clueless, says Shaw. I can't necessarily disagree with you on that one. The executives are something else right now. And I'll leave it at that. So, BB, you think Corey Heim was definitely lying, or do you think he accidentally cracked? He's 100% lying. Mistakes do happen. And I'm glad you brought that up because I got roasted by not by everybody, but I got roasted by a lot of people for that video about Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill. And the only thing I really said, I wasn't defending either one of them. I wasn't vilifying either one of them. The only thing I said in that video is I'm glad they told the truth because it is so rare in this day and age of NASCAR for drivers, even Richard Childress and Andy Petrie, telling the truth in that moment. Now, Andy Petrie changed his mind when he got more information. I'm not talking about his opinion. I'm talking about the fact that they gave what they thought was the truth. They gave their honest opinion in the moment. Now, some of the same people are like, Corey Heim is lying. He shouldn't be lying. Well, make up your mind because what Corey Heim is doing is professional. Corey Heim is being a professional race car driver by telling a lie that he did not wreck Carson Hocevar on purpose so that he doesn't get suspended. So you can either like the honest opinions of Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed, or you can like the dishonest corporate professional opinion of Corey Heim. But you can't criticize both of them because you either want somebody that tells the truth or you want somebody who is corporate. And in my opinion, it is much better for these guys to tell the truth. I think it'll grow the sport. The sport was built on personalities and storylines. And if everybody just acts corporate and does what Corey Heim is doing, which what Corey Heim is doing is smart so he doesn't get suspended. But it's much better if you just tell the truth and take the suspension because that's going to grow the sport. And eventually NASCAR will stop suspending every driver that tells the truth. So it is what it is. I predict either KFB and they will actually have to start doing their job of if you make contact in the race and spin somebody out and wreck them, you go to the back of the part of the accident. It's not even a judgment call in that particular situation. So, yes, if NASCAR would do their job and police the sport the way it's supposed to be policed, these guys could, A, tell the truth and grow the sport, and B, wouldn't have to tell lies and be totally corporate. Let's see here. Rant over. I predict either KFB or Joey will get the pole for the next Daytona 500, says Jamie Schweitzer. I don't have catfish where we live or alligators, but would like to eat both. They're both good, especially put some Cajun on them. Yeah, KFB, he was pretty close to the pole, so I think he might be close there. RCR puts a lot of emphasis on Daytona 500 still, and Joey Logano, he's Penske is always good at plate tracks or super speedways or whatever you want to call them. Are you going to do live streams weekly on the off season every Tuesday? I don't know about the weekends because that's like my pre-race stuff, but we'll keep the Tuesday live stream going. Even Pro Golf cuts the field down to the top 30 for their championship. So yeah, that's fine. You can cut it down for the last 10 races. That's cool. But and that's cool, and it probably makes sense for TV that way. But that being said, the current playoff system they got now is not necessarily great. MLB used to have one game playoff, and it screwed the Pirates three games in a row, says John Shaw. I do remember people critiquing that. My goal in life is to eat everything on earth that has a face. Other stuff if I have to, but I will, says Shaw. So there you go. There's Shaw making a point there. He's going to be a Caribbean cannibal or whatever. I still love Josephus regardless, says B. I mean, yeah, I think he's just upset that he knows he ruined his reputation again. That's I really think he's trying to repair that reputation, and that's probably more so what he was upset about than actually just wrecking Corey Heim. It was bigger than just wrecking Corey Heim. How long until we consider Austin Cindric a bust? He seems like a cool dude, but I constantly forget he's on the track, says JFP. He's right up there with Austin Dillon. He had a super bad year, sophomore year a lot of times, or the sophomore slump. A lot of times you'll see people not do as good as their rookie season. So we'll see what he does next season. I don't want to sit there and say he's a bust just yet because he did have a good rookie season. You are all delicious to me, says Shah. JFB, it's literally his sophomore year, says B. We've seen second-year slumps a million times, says B. So she knows about the sophomore slump as well. And he's a flagship car, says JFB. So, yeah, a lot of pressure driving that 2 car. That's the car of Brad Keselowski, the car of Rusty Wallace. So that's another one of those Austin Dillon situations. He's driving the 3 car. Well, Austin Cindric's driving the 2 car, and a lot of pressure does come with that. And Penske as a whole sucked, says Bumblebee. I don't know that they sucked. Joey Logano won a race, and your champion is Ryan Blaney. But they definitely the other two cars in Penske, which I do consider the Wood Brothers a Penske car. The other 2 cars for Penske were not good. Hosvar, I did think he fell back on purpose, but they did bring up his tires were old, and he was all in his feelings too. So I'm not sure what to think, says Shop. I think he self-penalized himself. I think 100% that's what he did. Champion had 8 top 5s all year, says Bumblebee. Yeah, Joey Logano had more top 5s, I think, than Ryan Blaney had more wins, and I think Joey Logano had more top 5s. Ty Gibbs was ramming him for 4 laps before Carson turned him. He meant to bump him out of the way. That was 1 week ago, says Duke Chronic. BB, what's the worst fast food barbecue? Oh, probably. I mean, a lot of people love Smithfield, but I think Smithfield barbecue is kind of just generic. I guess that's a hot take. I don't know. 1 and the 33 were Jackson racing cars, says Bumblebee. So the one was in there too. It was also the 55 because I remember when Andy Petrie bought it, they ran the 55. Was it Bobby Hamilton in the Square D 55? Let's see here. A couple weeks ago, Blaney got in the radio and told Josh Williams, his spotter, to go over and knock Brandon Williams out because Ross was air blocking him. Says Dirty Death. I mean that too. So I mean, Ryan Blaney is undefeated on the radio. Nobody that he's racing around has ever done anything right. And if you don't believe me, go to a racetrack, put on the scanner, and listen to Ryan Blaney for a whole race. Whoever he's racing against is the worst human being on the face of the planet, 9 times out of 10. That sophomore slump is not a thing. Cindric needs to do better, says JFB. BB, you should put some deep dish rims on the Fiat, says OJ and Toothpaste. Bumblebee says, and he will. I don't Twitter or Discord, just YouTube. So please, Fiat on YouTube. I mean, yeah, the Fiat's definitely going to be on YouTube. Just the still pictures or nothing of that. I just showed still pictures, and I think the still pictures are on YouTube. I did put up at least one of them. I know that for sure. Stroke Race, so you're not really missing anything, I promise. You haven't seen anything more than Twitter or I don't even think I put it on the Discord yet. Let's see here. Stroke Race, Ken Squire, great line. Why don't you guys ever tell the truth? Says Ghost. Hey, there you go. Austin Hill and Sheldon Creed are friends. I think they orchestrated an excellent rivalry too to make them and Xfinity interesting for the next couple of years. Yeah, that's I don't put that past them at all. Not at all. The Dale Earnhardt Jeff Gordon thing was a fake feud too, so it wouldn't be the first time it's happened. BB, what's the most frustrating part of the Truck Race Friday? Was because it was a late night race or something else? It's not because it was a late night race. That was part of it. That was an insult to the fans on the East Coast that want to watch it starting a race at 10 o'clock at night. Not most people, but a lot of people on the East Coast are already asleep. So that was part of the issue, but it was just the last. Really, there were something happened. Carson, I forget when Carson Hocevar actually hit Corey Heim. Whenever that happened, it set off a chain event of things. Where the last 6 laps, it took like 4 or 5 green, white, checkered flags, and it stopped being racing. To that point, it had been a pretty good race. It stopped being racing at that point, and it just turned into a demolition derby, and whoever survived was going to be your champion. And that is literally exactly what happened, because all of the trucks that were in the championship were in bad shape at the end of that race. So it's not the way it makes a good argument that you shouldn't have one race crown your champion, and B, it shows that you can have a race. What if that had happened in the first 10 laps, right? You could have a race where all of your championship contenders wreck in like the first lap, and in this case, with several restarts to go. And it's not really who was the most skilled that day. It was just who survived a bunch of wrecks, and that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. And to me, I think that was probably the biggest issue with how that race went down. Mark my words, says Shah. Will Austin Cindric make the Final Four next year, BB? I don't know about the Final Four, but he'll have a much better season. I think he's a threat to make the Sweet 16. You can have a rookie class of 2024 video of possible predictions of their wins, says Jamie Schweitzer. If NASCAR ever makes it official who actually is a rookie and who isn't, because it's just up to NASCAR now. There's no actual standard for who can be a rookie. So if NASCAR just makes a judgment on it, and I know in enough time, I'll make a rookie video. No problem. BB, have you ever had buffalo or polar bear meat? Says OJ. I've had buffalo. I haven't had polar bear. I think my friend has black bear meat, but I don't think I've ever tasted it. What do you think about Munoz moving to Xfinity? I think it's a good move for him. He's not going to learn anything other than getting your super speedway license in ARCA. The way ARCA is set up right now. Buc-ee's has got great brisket, barbecue brisket, says John Irby. Yeah. Buc-ee's is pretty good, pretty popular among the NASCAR crowd right now. The 2 was the second best performer this year, which means he'll be the top performer still at SHR next season. Sorry about that. I got an itch, says one wise guy. So Chase Briscoe was the second best car for sure. So I think he'll probably be the dude that leads Stewart Haas Racing. But it's a wild card, right? Because we don't know what Noah Gragson or Josh Berry is going to do over there in that car. So it's going to be hard to say who's going to be the leader at Stewart Haas Racing. But I would lean toward Chase Briscoe for sure. Truck race was a clown show. Seemed fitting to have a drunken clown champion. Nothing against Ben. I like him. Just thought it was fitting, says Shah. I mean, sometimes it mirrors itself, right? Ben Rhodes post-race was the best part of the Truck Series. Yeah, he saved the Truck Series by being likable, basically. BB, you need to do a video of where all the drivers are going in 2024. I mean, I think we'll cover that with the too early predictions. To be fair, it's supposed to be earlier next year, but NASCAR had it that late because the series started mainly on the West Coast. Says Dirty Def. Yeah, it's still a rough thing for people on the East Coast. Like a lot of them just didn't even watch it because it just started so late. The truck race was a total embarrassment to the sport, says Napa Race Fan. Yeah, so even if it had started at 8 o'clock, people still would have had the same opinion of it. I just thought starting it at 10 o'clock is kind of disrespectful to the East Coast. So I don't know. They usually start races at a time frame that both coasts can see them. So I don't know why they decided not to do it there. BB, did you see the Kamikazes video rant on the championship yesterday? I don't even know who the Kamikazes are, so I'll have to look that one up. So what happens when all four what happens when all four or final four get wrecked out of the race? I guess get whichever one NASCAR scores in the lead, which will be another another thing that they can get critiqued for. What's up, Chrome Diesel? Good to see you on here. Last to be wrecked wins, Shaw. I miss Rutledge Wood on NBC. Yeah, he's doing his own thing now. He's got all kinds of TV hosting things that he's doing now. What's up, Joshua Jenkins? What do you think of Ben's press conference after the race? That was embarrassing. Says like dislike. So a lot of people liked it. A lot of people are big fans of it. But in a world of corporate, you got to be corporate this, corporate that. It's probably not a good look to be that overserved in public. To be totally honest with you, I'm not going to sit here and judge because I was young too, and I was definitely overserved in public. But I wasn't a public figure, so I don't know. It's hard to say. Depending on who you are, it's not going to be a good look, or it is going to be a good look. It just depends on who you are, really. I don't know. I miss Dave Despain, says Shab. BB, should Brad Daughtry be in the Fox booth next year with Harvick and Mike Joy? Brad Daughtry is a good. Brad Doherty is a Daughtry is the singer or whatever. Brad Doherty is a good. He's a good announcer for whatever he does, so I wouldn't mind him. I think he adds a lot. Playoff format is not gimmicky. A few hours later, truck race happens. Yeah, so Steve Phelps' famous last words, right? Steve Phelps said the playoffs are not a gimmick, and then the truck race happened. The press conference was funny as heck, says Mark Barnum. I like to see Ben Rhodes in the GRM9, says Duke Chronic. I like to see Ben Rhodes move up at some point. He's got 2 truck championships. You can't hopefully he doesn't stay in trucks forever. Earth 2, 2025 NASCAR Cup season televised on the ABC Wide World of Sports. Dodge and Pepsi saturate the series. So there you go. And we got one right here. Professional always drinks it with the Pepsi logo out. If I won the championship, I'd be doing a inebriated press conference too, says Shah. Screw the PC, must be professional BS, enjoy life and do not judge, says Shah. Or maybe, and this is just a thought, do your press conference, get it over with, and then go drink. I'm just throwing that out there. Most drivers, and when they start drinking, make everybody put their freaking camera phones down and live their life. Most drivers that go to Thor Sport or Truck Lifers, most but not all, did you do a 2-part playoff? Did you see the 2-part playoff from Real Radman? I haven't seen that yet. Might not be a good look, but I'm here for Ben Rhodes celebrations. BB, is Pepsi better than Coke? I do like Pepsi better than Coke. When will SHR? I'm from North Carolina too, so factor that in. When will Stewart Haas Racing announce the 10 driver? I don't know, but in my opinion, I feel pretty confident that it's going to be Noah Gregson with Bass Pro Shop and Black Rifle Coffee. That's just how I feel about that. Ben Rhodes seems like a complete opposite of Matt Crafton. Matt Crafton is a grouchy dude, man, like for sure. I can't disagree with you there. They are definitely, in my opinion, polar opposites as well. I love retro Pepsi logos, says Chrome Diesel. Yeah, they did a good job with it for sure. Now, if he was slurring his words and falling over, now that would be bad, says Shop. Yeah. I mean, look, I think in general, most people are going to like it, but there are going to be some people that don't like it because they think it doesn't look professional. It goes back to the same arguments that we were just having with Corey Heim being a professional and Sheldon Creed and Austin Hill not being professionals or whatever, Andy Petrie and Richard Childress not being professionals in that situation. It's just how you want to live your life. Me personally, I don't care what anybody does. It's everybody else's choice how they want to live their life. I live my life pretty simply. I do unto others as I would want them to do unto me. That's how I do my life. So I'm not going to judge anybody for anything they do. Live your life. You know what I'm saying? Like, don't worry about anybody else judging you or anything like that. Because guess what? People that don't like you, it doesn't matter what you do. They're going to judge you anyway. I thought it was funny and okay. Says Shah. What I also don't understand is why don't they give points for leading laps or finishing in the top 10 in each segment in the last race? Why is it whoever finishes ahead wins the championship, says Escobar? Yeah, I don't know. If they're not going to give out points for the stages, why are we running the stages? So I mean, that's a fair enough. And everybody's like, well, it matters to everybody else in the field. Well, if it matters to everybody else in the field, it should matter to the championship guys running too. Like, none of it makes sense. It just, they've got to do something to make it make sense. The playoffs suck. Video is coming. Don't worry. We'll get there next week. How about a new poll? Dealer's Choice, says Jamie Schweitzer. BB is Panera Bread, the best food in town. I don't think I've ever been to an actual Panera Bread. I might have had it like catered when I worked at Duke. So, but other than that, I don't know that I would have ever had it. Screw Professional, they are celebrating, says Shaw. It's honest, says Shaw. Ain't no way Johnny Morris wouldn't be a sponsor, says one wise guy. What was this? Yeah, Noah Gragson has already shot a commercial, by the way, for Bass Pro Shops. So it's coming. It's coming. Wherever Noah Gregson's going, which is the 10 car in my opinion, it's going to be sponsored by Bass Pro Shops. What's the whole debacle about Bobby Allison's 85th victory? NASCAR said that you could drive, I forget what type of car it is, but there were two different series and you could drive the car. Well, after Bobby Allison wore them out and won the race in that car, they decided, well, you can't run that car and actually have the victory. We were just saying you could run it in the race. So Bobby Allison actually has 85 victories instead of 84. Daniel Dunn, so true. There's a photo of Ryan Blaney and Chase Elliott chugging a Jack Daniels bottle, and no one cares about that. So why I care about Ben Rhodes? I don't know. I don't care about Ben Rhodes. But I'm just telling you, there are some people that don't think being overserved in public and talking on a microphone is a good look. I didn't say I was one of them. I'm just relaying information that there are people who don't care for that type of behavior. Ben Rhodes was so talked to about. They usually sit in the front pews at the church. Ben Rhodes was so talked about after his celebration that it felt like he had to do something to rival that. That's the main thing he's been remembered for in his career, says Dirty Death, which is sad because you would think a two-time champion would be remembered for being a two-time champion, which goes back to NASCAR not spending the money to promote their champions. So it speaks to all kinds of problems in the sport right now. Be you and just be a decent human being, says one wise guy. I agree. Love Blaney winning the championship, but definitely don't love the playoffs, says Napa Race Fan. That's where I'm at with it. Like, I think the championship format can be tweaked to be a little bit better. I'm not saying we need to go back to the old Winston Cup style, but you can have a 10-race playoff, and you can have it make more sense than this playoff we've got right now. I think if I win a championship, I'm getting inebriated too. I don't see why the hate on Ben Rhodes, says Escobar. I feel like we're going in circles with this. I'm not hating on Ben Rhodes. If you want to do that, do that. I'm just telling you, there are people who don't necessarily think that's a good look. I didn't say I was one of those people. So I can't necessarily give their perspective because it's not something that bothers me. But I can tell you that there are people out there who don't like that. That's all I can say about it. To me, live your life and do what you want to do. I feel like we're going in circles on that. So any more Ben Rhodes doing what he did at the press conference, I'm just going to skip those. You heard anything about the College 16 for next year, says Joshua Jenkins. College 16 seems to be there's one camp that thinks AJ Allmendinger is going to be back in there. There's another camp that thinks it's going to be Ty Dillon. Which camp is right? I have no idea. So I'm just waiting for them. They said they're probably going to make an announcement in December. So that's the only thing I've heard about that. I'm so tired of people pretending to be dishonest because they might offend 10% or even 1% or 1%, says Shaw. Welcome to the social media era. Panera Bread equals Starbucks for sandwiches, says Sonny V. So, okay, I hear you. Bobby still counts that win, says Duke Chronic. I think a lot of people still count that win. Which HMS driver is most likely to not get into the postseason, says Jamie Schweitzer. I don't know. I feel like they've all got a good chance to get into the postseason. Typically, if Alex Bowman's back heels up, which I think he was bothered by that all season, typically Alex Bowman is going to win a race early on in the season. So I just feel like they're all pretty – I don't think you can say one is less likely to get into the playoffs than the other because they all typically win a race early on in the season. So I don't know. I don't know that there's even a good pick there. B, I know your opinion on Ben Rhodes. That comment was towards the others about the JD. LOL, says OJ. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't care. I'm just trying to tell you there are people out there because I read all the comments and try to answer all of them, or at least I try to read all of them and answer all of them. I'm just telling you there's a good group of people in there that did not care for that deal. And I can't give it, right. So I just can't. Like you heard me on the RCR deal. I like it when people tell the truth and be who they're supposed to be. But there's another group of people that want everybody to act professional in public. So I don't know. You see the show. I don't necessarily act professional all the time. I'd rather be, real and honest. But there is that mindset, that corporate mindset of be polished and put together all the time. And that's a different way of going about life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just I'm not that guy. So I can't make their argument for them. So just having the same question over and over again, I can't give somebody else's opinion. So and I don't necessarily understand their rationale. It's so foreign to me that I can't make their argument for them. It would be something I would have to think about, write down some notes and stuff like that. I can't do it off the top of my head because it's a foreign deal being corporate to me. It's the reason I quit working at Duke University. I can't be politically correct and corporate and put together all the time. Do you remember when Brett Bodine won his first race and only found out later he was a lap down and NASCAR stood by to give him the victory? His only race, I want to say, he won in the Quaker State number 26 at Wilkesboro, if I'm not mistaken. Racing may be over, but silly season is far from over. It seems like silly season never ends. There's definitely going to be a lot of Xfinity and Truck Series seats filled. And then there's 2 Cup Series seats out there for at least to be filled. And then whatever happens with the other Rick Ware racing seat. Ben Rhodes was so talked about after his last celebration that he felt, I just read that one. Let's see here. 10 race playoff, and they have 2 scoring system to score the champion points in one. Says I do chronic. B, I didn't say you were hating on Ben Rhodes. I got you, Escobar. I'm just telling you, I can't give the other side's perspective. I don't know because I don't know. I just can tell you that some people didn't care for it. Oh boy, who knew Ben Rhodes would be the hot button issue today? We're gonna get to the bottom of the Ben Rhodes. If I had to take a bet at the beginning of this that Ben Rhodes was going to be the big contentious topic today, or the big topic that gets talked about, not even contentious, just the big topic that gets talked about the most, I would have lost that bet 10 times out of 10. What was your favorite moment of the year? One of mine was when Ryan Priest came back the next week after his accident, looking like he was punched out by Mike Tyson, says Couch Commander. Favorite moment. That's a good question, man. Like maybe that first Roush, that first RFK win, that was huge. Man, that's a tough one. AJ Allmendinger winning for Colleague, that's a big one too. I'd have to think about that. There's a lot of season I need to go through in my head, but those are 2 that stick out. Like the first RFK win, and then and just RFK having an overall season. I guess it's not necessarily a moment, but RFK having because they won last year too, I think. But RFK having an overall good season would have to stand out. I think the 16 Collie car will be a shared ride. There's a good chance that it's an all-star car. I agree with you there, Dirty Death. Colleague is worried more about their owners' points because that's more money, and they can put AJ in there for road courses and get help with the owners' playoffs. I think that would probably be the best idea, and I'm with you on that one. Ben R, I love it. The smoker you drink, the player you get. Great album, says Sonny V. We love our baloney. You just be you, LOL, says Shy. Oh, y'all are good, man. Like I'm saying, like I can just that's the only thing I can be. So when I have to think like somebody that's corporate, I can't give you that opinion. I can only tell you that there are people out there that didn't care for that celebration, just reading through the comments on my own video. While AJ is full-time Xfinity, says Dirty Death. So Almirola waited too long to find a part-time ride, and his retirement was overshadowed by Kevin Harvick. Bummer. I mean, to be fair, he got the send-off last year. And then he came back. So I think he just didn't. He basically at one point, I think, if I remember correctly, said you don't get 2 retirement years or something like that. That might have been Tom Brady, but either way, he had his retirement year last year. Corporation sucks, say Shy. I think Yaley exceeded expectations this year. The top 10 start and a top 10 finish and some good runs as the oldest driver now in Cup. Cool to see he still got it. Says Team FT. Yeah, and they kind of let it slip that possibly AJ Allmendinger is not going to be coming back full time because they keep calling Kyle Busch the oldest driver in the Cup Series. So it's like they know something we don't know, but they can't tell us yet. So that kind of lets me lead to believe that AJ Allmendinger is not going to be full time. if he comes back to the 16 in the Cup Series at all. Most unexpected moment of the season was Eric Almirola winning the Xfinity race at Sonoma. Yeah, in an orange 28. So that was pretty cool as well. Team FT Hub says Cup. Ben Rhodes is cool. I deal with you plebs rolling on the floor laughing, says Shah. Aaron Flynn with the thumbs up. Corporations would have a problem with it, says Dirty Def. I think so too. You'd be amazed, man. Like there are certain corporations that won't even let you change the color of the logo to match a scheme and stuff like that. They've got all kinds of funny rules. Like it's and none of them they make sense to them. And it's all I don't know. I'm not getting into it. Thanks for another show. Hoping the new 2024 Mustang is going to get lots of wins, says Jamie Schweitzer. BB, should McDonald's bring back the McRib? They should bring back the McRib. I feel like there is McRib season every year, but they always act like it's going to be the last McRib season ever, and then they always bring it back. I think that's all a marketing ploy. Dirty Def says SVG. Yeah, SVG could jump in there too, so for sure. Then you would have to split the road courses. So with AJ and SVG, really looking forward to 2024 season. I think it's going to be a good one. Dinger was a good one, says Couch Commander. NASCAR is my favorite soap opera, always. I'd like to see Eric run some races with RSS, says Team FT. Should we expect the new TV deal by January or by the end of the year? Is TNT more likely than Amazon at this point? I mean, they basically said the new TV deal is going to be Fox and NBC. They're just it's being held up by the streaming partner, so we'll have to see which direction that goes in. I don't know. I'm definitely going to have to get Almirola number 28 win diecast as Team FT. I looked them up the other day. It is still available for purchase. The race win. I thought it was confirmed. It's going to Xfinity, says Shah. I hadn't heard it confirmed yet, so I know a lot of people have talked about it. So if it is confirmed, I missed it, which I mean doesn't mean anything. Sometimes I started a war, says like this, like you didn't start a war. It's just I was surprised in the comments that some people didn't like it because I feel like Brad Keselowski in 2012 or whenever he did the same thing, and I guess because I didn't have a YouTube channel, I didn't see the flack from it back then. So I thought it was just like universally liked. Then I saw just a bunch of the comments in there, and they were like, "That's not professional," and stuff like that. Same thing on Twitter. So I mean, like I said, some people are just set up to be put together in corporate all the time. Some people are not. There's no right or wrong way to be about it, and I'm not judging anybody. And I can't give the counter argument is probably the most disappointing thing. I wish I did understand it so I could give the counterpoint because I do pride myself on giving the counterpoint a lot of times. But that's one that I can't understand because, like you guys saw, it's a celebration. You don't see those same comments when somebody wins the pennant in baseball and they're spraying champagne everywhere. But for whatever reason, you see it in NASCAR. So it's a weird thing. 2024 to me, ARCA season is going to be interesting as well, says Team FT. It might be. I don't really know too much about ARCA. The only thing I look for at ARCA is who's over there to get their super speedway license to come to either trucks or Xfinity the next season. BB, remember when Hendrick, and that's nothing against the ARCA series. They just need to do something to make it more competitive because you've got some juggernaut teams over there, and then you've got everybody else. BB, remember when Hendrick put Casey Kane in a Toyota for 1 year before going to the number 5? I do remember that. He ran pretty good in that Toyota too. Glock must still be recovering, says one wise guy. SVG's win was a big moment, says 30 Def. Yeah, for sure. I got you. I got what you're saying now. Yeah, SVG's win, definitely. I would have to put that up there too. Like I said, I have to go over the whole season. That's not something I can really do off the top of my head. Who's your early Daytona 500 pick? I think Kyle Busch is finally going to get it done. Like I said on the pre-race this year, I'm going to pick Kyle Busch until he wins the Daytona 500 because I think it's going to happen. So he is definitely going to be my preseason pick. I am done watching the Truck Series. Had to get a special channel for it. Going to cancel it. Mostly got it to watch Deegan. I hope she does well next year, says Shah. So there you go. That's the fracturing of how the sport is viewed. So there is definitely going to be that. BB, how many ARCA races will you fly to next year? I've never flown to watch an ARCA race. In fact, the only ARCA race that I ever drove to specifically watch was in Arizona because my friend was a guy who was racing in that race, and he finished 4th last year. So good on him. Good race. Either 4th or 6th. He had a good run. I can't remember where he was at, but he ran good in it, so I was proud of him. My unexpected moment was Busher, Landon Pimbleton, by the way. It's just so you don't have to go look it up. I wasn't trying to be mysterious. My unexpected moment was Busher winning 3 races. I saw RFK. Whoopsie. I saw RFK getting better through the 6 and 17, would win a race or two apiece, says Joshua Jenkins. Because of the Blaneys and Byron making the championship 4, Aaron Maney jokes seem to have arose. Who was her championship pick, her brother or Willie B? Probably yes. Her answer to you would probably be yes on that one. If you want to see competitive ARCA, the West Series is regarded as the best one right now, says Team FT. All right, so I'll have to check it out. They've got a YouTube channel, so I can go back and look at that. Mr. Pearson, what's up, my friend? And cheers to you as well. Is Ryan Blaney greater than Casey Kane now? Yep, he's got a championship. KP made the comparison of Blaney being the next Casey Kane. Blaney had a championship. And I'm not going to lie to you. When Kyle Petty made that comparison, I was like, that is just the type of thing that happens in life. And when somebody does that, that dude ends up winning the championship that year. I literally had that thought in that moment. And I wish I'd said it on camera because I would have looked like a genius. But I didn't say it. And now I just sound like somebody who's making it up because they're talking about it now. But I literally, I was like, that's one of those things that happens when somebody says that. And that dude goes out and wins a championship. And it for sure happened. That was so crazy. That was so crazy that happened. Blaney had a championship while Kane had none and came closest in 2012. Blaney got 10 wins, Kane 18 wins. I would have to say at this point that Ryan Blaney is probably going to end up being a better driver. What do you think of Larson competing in the double this year? I'm all for it. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm thinking about going to Indianapolis and watching that. Let me explain it to you, BB. Some people aren't happy unless they're miserable, says Sonny V. Amen to that, brother. Amen to that. And you know what? I just keep smiling and making them matter. The Daytona 500 was on my birthday this year. I got to see a rare winner and 100% in the corporate world. It's all about who you can get over top in the corporate world and sort of whatever little bit of power you exert it as much as possible. In the corporate world, there are a lot of people like that. That's why it's not for me. It just gets super petty. The Daytona 500 was because I like production. Like I like to go to work and produce something and get done with it and have my work done. I'm not about arbitrary rules and a bunch of BS. That's what corporate world is all about. Arbitrary rules and a bunch of BS because somebody has a little bit of power and low self-esteem and they're trying to exert all that power on everybody that they can. The Daytona 500 was on my birthday this year. I got to see a rare winner and see Pastrana and Johnson Racing, says Team FT. Yeah, that's pretty cool. So, like, Daytona 500, Indy 500, there are certain races, the 24 hours of Daytona, there are certain races, if you ever get a chance to go to them for whatever reason, definitely go to them. But definitely if it's on your birthday, that's definitely awesome. Will Larson, and the fact that Pastrana, like, how often is that ever going to happen? Pastrana and Jimmy Johnson being in the race and those being two of your favorite guys, that's just a cool deal. Will Larson ever finish a plate track? Says Escobar. Where's the magic 8 ball? I need to get a magic 8 ball in here for some of these questions. I have no idea. Fingers crossed. If he ever does, he'll finish well because he's usually running pretty well when he gets wrecked out. Corporations help NASCAR get big, but at the same time, corporations end up ruining the sport because it changed a lot of the things that made the sport popular, made it too polished and vanilla. 100%. It's just one of those things you got to learn to live with, and you got to find a better balance with it. BB, when is the Snoop cereal stream coming? Probably next Tuesday, because technically that is going to be the first stream with the when there's no racing. So technically there was racing this week, so we're talking about racing this week. So that'll be my gimmick. It'll be the off season of gimmicks for the live streams. We'll have to get something going because it won't be always something NASCAR related to talk about. So next week we've got the Snoop cereal bowls that'll be right here. You won't be able to see them, but I guess I'll hold them up and spill them all over my desk. Let's see. Are you working the late model race? Junior is running in Spartanburg. To my knowledge, we don't have anybody in that race. I'm pretty much done for the late models this season. So I've already told them that. I was like, unless somebody wants to pay an exorbitant amount of money, I'm done until next season. I got to get my car together so I can actually race at some point because this season was disappointing. I didn't get a chance to race my stuff. NASCAR, ARCA, YouTuber Colby Evans will be running some ARCA races next year, which I'm looking forward to. So there you go, Colby Evans. We'll keep an eye on him. Blaney winning the 2024 Daytona 500. I'm calling it now. A lot of people have that feeling, so it could happen. Chicago Street Race felt like a legitimate NASCAR race because of no stage yellows and single file restarts. Yeah, hopefully, I don't know why they went back to stages, but hopefully at the road courses, hopefully they get rid of them next year for all the road courses in the playoffs. Too safe. Sorry, but it used to be dangerous. That was part of the appeal, says Shaw. I don't know about it being too safe. I think it was more important when they were telling stories, but now everybody's the exact same. You can't even tell me where, like, not saying you personally, most casual fans can't tell you where 5 race car drivers' hometown is at. I can't say that dude's last name, but he's a d-bag. Just won the West title, but lost the race to Sawalich. I heard Sawalich will be trying to get more truck and Xfinity Series starts next year, so we may see less of Love and Sawalich next year. William Sawalich is legit. He's going to be good. He's going to be really good, I think. So he's going to be one to watch. Of course, everybody knows about Jesse Love. He's another one to watch. I'm not super familiar with his game, but I have seen William Sawalich race quite a bit, and I'm big on him. I think he's got potential to be really good if he fulfills that potential. BB, do you like the Taco Bell breakfast menu? Looks horrible and disgusting. I've never had it for that exact reason. I know what the regular food does. I don't want to see what the breakfast food does to me that early in the day. BB, is Burger King breakfast the best? According to Eric Jones, Burger King breakfast is the best, and everybody knows it. So that's Eric Jones's words, not mine. Nerds rule the world. Currently, they're getting their revenge of the nerds, says Shaw. I didn't get to go to the 500. Just meant I got to watch it. Was crazy on my birthday. Oh, I got you. I share a home state with Pastrana and seeing Jimmy Johnson. Sorry about that, Team FT. I misunderstood what you said. Seeing Jimmy back was cool. Glad that Jimmy is running the 10 or so next year. Running 10 or so races next year. Yeah, that's definitely going to be really cool. I think it's also going to help boost legacy with him doing that, and the fact that they'll be able to probably put some other people in that 84 car as offshoots as well. We need to talk about the Snowball Derby, says Chrome Diesel. If I catch it, I don't always remember to watch it, to be totally honest with you, but I might. If I see it, I'll talk about it. I don't want to talk. I don't want to act like I saw it and then talk about it because that just feels douchey. It's best to dance with the girl that I came to the dance with you, says Big Cheese. I agree. I agree. The new Ford, talking about let the drivers live their lives and not be corporate. The new Ford race car will be dominant. Those front fenders will be hard to beat. It's hard to say because Toyota's going to come with something too. Did you ever complete the other studio? Nope. Nope. I got a pretty good start on it, and then life happened, man. So I'm going to hope to get all these projects done in the off season. So hopefully we get them done. That's part of the reason that I'm not messing with late models. I got to get this stuff done. How did you learn about how to work on cars? It's like a foreign language to me, so a lot of respect for the people that can. That's a good question. Like I've just been like, I always like taking stuff apart and putting it back together. I got a part-time job working at 4 parts departments, and when I wasn't doing anything on the parts department, they would pull me out on the floor, or sometimes they would pull me back if a mechanic helped. So I guess technically I started that way, and then I just started doing, I guess, like my own oil changes and stuff like that. And if it was something simple that I could work on, I started doing that. And then just when I started working on race cars, which is totally different than a street car, just totally different animals. Just a lot of repetition and practice, or not even practice, just repetition of stuff you do over and over again. I totally forgot about it. I also went to school for mechatronics, which is the job I ended up getting was. So I was taking stuff apart and putting it together for a job too. So different kind of mechanicing, but still mechanicing. I forgot about the studio. LOL, says Shah. Dang Caps. Sorry, says Shah. Yeah, Love won half of the ARCA races this year. Wouldn't be surprised if he makes it to Cup in a few years. Yeah, he's got a solid start, so he'll be good. You watch the and he's going to RCR. Do you watch the YouTuber Practical Engineering? I haven't seen that one. You said you study it. It's a good channel if you like that stuff. I haven't seen him, but I've seen what's that dude's name? He does car engineering. I can't think of the name of the channel though, but I watch him quite a bit. Someone wants to be a douche canoe, says Shah. I've seen a couple of people speculating Kenseth in the 84, or at least hoping he does. Now that he's part of LMC, it could happen. That would definitely happen. Douche canoe is the saying that it cracks me up, says Shah. Can you imagine? So Shah, Edwards ever returns, I'd say it would be with 2311 or Legacy. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet because they're both Toyota teams. What are your thoughts on Larson and Sweet expanding the high racing? I think it's good because they're paying these guys more money. They're doing it in their, and even though it has caused allegedly, apparently, a split in the dirt racing world or whatever, I think it's a good thing because they're going to pay these guys more money. And no matter what side wins, they're going to have to adopt that you have to pay these guys more money to race. You said you didn't want to be that person with all those projects. I don't. That's why I said I've got 2 car projects going right now, and I got to finish my studio. There is another project that I'm not talking about that has nothing to do with this channel that I'm going to finish, and I might share that, I might not, just see how it goes. But those are all the things that need to get finished. On top of, I've got all of these mini documentaries written down that need to be filmed and sound and all that stuff done, and better graphics that have accurate information as opposed to the video today. That had a few of those templates were off because I forgot to hit save. Big Cheese saying thanks for the chat. Thank you, Big Cheese. Thank all of y'all as well. BB, you ever been shopping in the hood and got scared? No, not really. I've never gotten scared. Let's see. Isn't Larson's wife? You got to go at some point. I believe in 2 worlds and 1 God, so men don't scare me. Isn't Larson's wife Brad Sweet's sister? That is a fact. That is Brad Sweet's sister. And somewhere in here, I've got a Brad Sweet T-shirt when he drove the number 5 car. One wise guy says, "LOL, nice." So yeah, there you go. That's one of my a rabbi on something I was watching, and a rabbi said that, and I was like, that makes total sense. So I just adopted that. All right, that is the end of the comments. So we're going to call it a day on this one. As far as live streams go, I know for sure I'll see you next Tuesday. If something pops up, I might pop up another live stream, but for sure next Tuesday I will see you guys. So all right, until then, peace.